What is going on, YouTube? Dr. Iway here. It's another video. I'm a little late to these videos. I anticipated putting up a whole lot more for my alliance. I've made a lot of these videos before, but I might give slightly different advice to tailor it to my current players' experience. So this is going to be PvE related. It's going to be two videos. One is going to be going over kind of like some general PvE stuff. And then it's going to be mainly focused on the PvE commanders. And then the next video, I'll talk a little bit more about more PvE activities in general and kind of how to get the best value out of it. And who knows, maybe I decide to do it all in one video. Who knows? Okay, so basically anything that's PvE where you fight against the environment instead of another player, it's going to be PvE content, player versus environment. And essentially, all of the peacekeepers are the ones that do that the best. You know, the commander excels at defeating barbarians and other neutral units. Right. So usually they have a skill that's related, or multiple skills sometimes that's related to barbarians, or usually damage or XP or something to that nature. Okay. So, in my opinion, in the early game, I think it's very doable for you to have at least two peacekeepers and to be working on them. The ones that I would recommend are Boudicca and Lohar. You can get Lohar's trial, happens for pretty much most of the first week of the game. If it was me with Lohar, I would be trying to get the experience gain on him. So you would take him to 3 stars and hopefully you pray that it lands on that third skill, because you want the experience bonus. That's his biggest benefit, is that he's good for hunting barbarians and getting a lot of XP from them. Also, he's good for attacking guardians. That'll come later. Guardians haven't spawned yet, but basically you can get a lot of XP for guardians, and this will just even make that even better. Boom. Um, Boudicca is the same way. I like Boudicca especially for the early game because you get 20% XP right off the rip without having to upgrade this skill per se. Right? As soon as you unlock the commander, get it to 2 stars, you get the 20% increased uh, experience. So there's some other noteworthy peacekeepers. Some people use markswoman in the early game. I don't. Mainly because you can, if you pay, you can do Mina, and Mina doesn't provide any bonuses to XP, but he is a peacekeeper and he does a lot of damage if you get that third skill maxed, which I did for that reason. See, hopefully you don't hear my baby in the background. So Belisarius is another one. He's a very fast peacekeeper. He doesn't give additional XP, but he does do respectable damage. And then I guess the last one is Ethelfly. I like to unlock Ethelfly as soon as I can. She's a very good peacekeeper and just a very good commander in general. But the caveat is that, you know, you're kind of using her. I would use her more as a PvP focused commander in the early game, and her third skill is the one that has the XP, and it's very hard to get her up. But she's gonna be like kind of like a peacekeeper that will come into play once you start progressing your account further. But to start, you got Lohar, you got Boudicca. You can just use them, get them up. If you decide to spend money, Mina is an option. And then I would slowly try to get Ethel up. You know, you want to do her skills like literally in order. I like getting this skill max, then that skill, then the other skill. I do it in order. So eventually you'll bring her up as a peacekeeper because she'll be giving you lots of experience and damage to barbarians. Belisarius is also an option if you have them, but that's what I would recommend. So now let's get into some talent builds. So with the peacekeeping, what you really want to go for in the beginning is insight. It reduces the amount of AP that you have to use to hunt barbs. It's very important. Also reduces the AP of forts. This is what gives you extra experience, 15%. And then you can get resources. Essentially, think of this like every time you hunt a barb, you get 15,000 food. It's kind of like that, basically, how that works. Then after that, I like to go over here to rejuvenate because it really helps you take out the barbarians a lot easier. At that point, I like to go to thoroughbreds and get the march speed because you usually want to hunt barbs quickly. And then you work your way all the way in here, and then you try to go all the way down to occurring chant, and it takes you about level 50. It's about level 50 to usually get all of that. Get the rejuvenate and this. And it's very, very useful to have your peacekeepers high leveled. And they will get leveled up if you're doing guardians every day, you're reducing your AP every day. You will get your barbarian peacekeeping commanders up. And because you're always going to be using them for battling barbarians, I do not recommend putting a lot of XP tomes into them, if at all. I could see the argument where you put XP tomes in them to get them to 3-star so you can have a secondary with them. But once you get them to that point, you really normally don't want to put any more XP in them. I literally got Boudicca from 1 to 58, almost 59 now on my main account without putting any XP tomes into her. And it takes a while. Don't get me wrong. It's going to take some time. But it's the slow knife that cuts the deepest. So you want to usually take your time and not be putting the XP tomes into them. But I can understand getting them at the 3-star. Okay. Also, you usually don't want to pair 2 peacekeepers together. Like you might think, oh yeah, I'm destroying the barbs, but then it's like, okay, you're leveling up your peacekeepers, but you're not like leveling up your other commanders like Joan or Sun Tzu. Who else? Sal, but he's a peacekeeper as well. Your Pelagius. Okay, so I think most builds kind of follow that same format. This skill tree also has a rejuvenate, and it's the same thing. Go over, get rejuvenate, work your way all the way down this way. Make sure you're getting, this stuff. And Belisarius and Salsau are a little bit different because they don't have the skill tree. I think it's okay with these commanders to just go gun straight for the occurring chant. Just max out this tree and then maybe go towards some extra march speed or hasty departure or something like that. I think that's fine. Okay, so that's just the general kind of like introduction commander guide to peacekeepers. This is what I will say. Minus Sal, if you're talking about smashing a fort, like Mina has 50% more damage. Sal has 50% more damage. That shit is so good for Barb Force. It doesn't really get too much better. Now, Mina Sal might not be accessible to a lot of players that aren't spending money. I mean, Mina isn't accessible to anybody that doesn't spend money, and you're not going to have a 5-5-1-1 Sal, very quickly unless you're buying, the daily. So, what's an alternative? You can use Lohar. I don't think he's good because 2 of his skills are irrelevant for forts. So I think Boudicca is the better option, even though she does slightly less damage because at least all of her skills are relevant. And then once you get Ethel, when you will get Ethel because she's from the exhibition shop, you get her expertise for free. You'll be able to get a lot of barbarian damage. So like the Boudicca Ethel, and honestly, Ethel Boudicca would be a better pairing, making her the primary. Would be a very good free-to-play focused, very free-to-play focused. Now, let's say you don't have Ethelfly, but let's say you went, I don't know, Byzantium, you would have Belly, and he's pretty good. He does pretty good damage to Barbarian. So with the forts, you don't get any XP. So having like the extra XP gain, you just get books, right? So you just want the damage. I think he's also pretty good. to use for forts. For barbs, you're gonna want to prefer the ones that give you XP. So Lohar, Boudicca, and Ethel are kind of at the top of that list. To some degree, you know, Mulan does give you experience bonus, and I don't want to knock that experience bonus, but I think she's better served as a PvP focused commander where you get her first 2 skills maxed. She's a gold key commander, so it's very hard to uh, get Mulan to a state where you would use her like as a PvP. Like you don't actually put universal sculptures into her. You just get her through the gold keys and get her like 5-1-1-1 and then start using her or whatever. Okay. So those are my recommendations. Uh, you know, I don't want to talk about Richard and Esong yet, but they actually come. They're kind of, even though they're not peacekeepers, they play a very important role into peacekeeping and farming barbarians on the map and stuff. But I'll save that topic for a completely different video. You know, Legion 4 Gallica, Legion 4 for life. See you in the next video. In the next video, I'll discuss the different types of. I already did describe the PvE activities. It's mainly either barbs or forts. So you know what? I'm just going to do it all in the same video. So there's a time to do barbs and there's a time to do forts, right? The main difference without there being no event, let's say it's a random Tuesday, no events going on. Forts give you typically a little bit more XP, more resources, right? And they give you books of the covenant. When you hunt a barb, you'll get more gems, more speed ups, and more. You get arrows of resistance, right? Now, I don't think that there's a like if there's no event, it doesn't really matter which one you do. Like it's hard as hell to get arrows of resistance and books. I find books to be the harder of the two, but they're both hard as hell to get. And what I do to make the determination of which one I do on any given day is that I tend to default towards barbs because you can once you get down the road you have 4 or 5 armies. You can reduce your AP very quick, especially if you don't have a lot of time, which I don't. But if you're trying to max out that castle, you're gonna need like I think it's like 19,000 or so books of the Covenant. You can run like 5 forts. You're not even guaranteed 20 books, so you can do the math on how many forts that it actually takes to do that. Most people end up just using gems to max their castle. So right now there's Lohar's trial, right? I get bonuses for hunting barbarians, right? So I'm doing barbs. It's as simple as that. And any good alliance leader would at least put up a marker and say no forts, hunt barbs for Lohar. Exactly. People still ignore it, but that's what they're supposed to be doing. So there's going to be times where there's going to be fort events. You don't want to hunt barbs. You want to just run those forts up. So that's pretty much most of the peacekeeping. When it comes to like neutral things, like neutral objectives, like the Wind Sanctum, you really want to have as much damage as possible. So consider this like a fort essentially. You would want to have your best of the best guy rally it, and then you want them to hopefully have a Mena expertise, if not a 5-5-5-1, if not expertise, because you want that barbarian damage. And then maybe they don't have Sal in a good spot, but they got Boudicca, or they got the belly or something like that. That would be the best thing that you could probably do for this uh, the PVE like strongholds and stuff. So now I'm truly done. Legion 4 for life. See you in the next video. PVE guide, tips, instruction. Hopefully it helped. See you in the next video.